Good morning. This meeting of the Sawyer County Land, Water, and Forest Resources Committee meeting is called to order. May we have the roll call, please?
Steve Carrianen.
Here.
Randy Newman.
Here.
Kay Wilson. Jim Evans. Dale Magnuson. He's virtual. You have a quorum.
Okay. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Certification of compliance with the open meetings law.
This meeting was noticed to the media and the public as required by 19.84 of the Wisconsin statutes.
The meeting agenda is set. Public comments.
Mr. Chairman, we were going to move an item.
Oh, yes, treasurer's report. Thank you.
First of all, thanks for moving me up. I'm seeking the committee's approval to sell a parcel, tax ID 42750. I had it listed for 500 as a minimum bid. The best bid I got was 300. So I'm seeking the approval to go ahead and sell that chunk.
I'll make a motion. We sell for 300.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Any discussion on this? So we have a motion by Randy Newman and a second by Jim Evans. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Now we go on to public comments. Ms. Zillmer.
Good morning, Linda Zillmer, resident of the village of Birchwood, but fourth generation property owner in Edgewater. This morning I sent you an email regarding the draft 10-year update to the Land and Water Resource Management Plan that will be presented. From what I could see on the website as far as available materials, there's the draft plan and then there's the 5-year update questionnaire. So in my email to you, I sent you a quick 6-minute video that explains the Land and Water Resource Management Plan and your role in it. And then I also provided you a link to when Sawyer County did their 5-year update back in 2021. And I understand there's also supposed to be annual reporting, but I don't think that I've ever seen that reviewed by this committee. So in my experience with Sawyer County, this is the third 10-year update that will be up for approval. And the process this time is definitely better than what it was last time. Yet again, it's not been readily accessible by the public, and it certainly would have been a problem for you committee members to have attended any of the meetings. There's also been public discussion in different areas of interest that this plan lacks some consideration in areas that I will send you examples of from other county plans. And in my email, I listed the items, especially with regard to groundwater and stormwater management. There's been work that has been done and some that is being done that probably warrants inclusion. So what has happened in the past is when this plan has gone to public hearing, it's just been more of a check the box formality. Public hearing opens, people, if they show up, they make public comment, the hearing's closed, and this committee just passes the plan on. So there really isn't an opportunity at that point to add a substantial amount of information to this plan. So as you think about setting the public hearing date and the additional work that the public might ask to be included in that plan, please consider the information that is applicable, that the public would like to see incorporated into this plan for the next 10 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item 8, consider approval of minutes of previous meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Motion by Mr. Newman, second by Mr. Evans. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Register of Deeds report. Everyone has seen the report. Any questions?
This one
Rachel.
will require
Oh,
some
he's
action.
got it.
Rachel is asking for a change in the fees for Laredo. So previously, it had been 85 cents a month or $85 a month, 0 to 250 minutes, and you can see the schedule. What she's asking for is to move to the schedule in the green, which starts at $95 a
Okay,
month.
yeah, I see it there. Mhm. So it's a fairly modest increase from the looks of it.
Just need motion for the rate
Yep.
increase. I'd like to make a motion to the new rate increase for Laredo.
Okay, motion by Mr. Newman and a second by Mr. Evans. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have the Land Records and County Surveyor Report. Real Property Lister Report is first.
Looks like Kimberly's not online. Her report is attached. Any questions?
Okay, very good. And we'll move on to the County Surveyor Report.
Same, the report is attached.
Okay, very good. Moving on. Forestry, County Forestry Report. Mr. Peterson.
Okay, for the month of September, we did have 11 sales listed as active. We've had some pretty good conditions in the woods right now, so things are moving along, going well. We did have 7 sales close out in the month. Our sale value that's sold and uncut on file is just over $4 million. Our revenue in September was a little over $190,000. So our year to date, we're just short of our budget goal of $1.85 million. So we should have a pretty significant overage, I think, this year if conditions keep on the way they are. Sale inspections were on target for the level of activity. We did have 7 tracts turned in this month for review and approval. We are working on our fall timber sale prospectus right now. Our bid opening is likely going to be the last week of October or early into November. Recon acres, we did hit our goal for that for the year. We did have 26 hours we put in onto the G&A hours. So we're well on our way for year 26 contract there. Oak wilt, we continue treatment of infected trees in areas as we find them. Nothing new to report on bike trails or Berkey Trail, ATV, UTV trails. We did start the Trail 3 rehab project from County Highway F 2 miles into our ATV bridge. This is a contracted amount of $65,500. That's 100% grant funded. Nothing new on parks, and no new info on the carbon credit for this month.
Okay, thanks, Greg. Any questions? All right, moving on to Wisconsin DNR report.
Yeah, so as of towards the end of last month, we've completed about just under 700 hours of our time commitment to Sawyer County. That's about 30% of our goal. Lately, we've been working a lot on site prep. Since then, we're probably up to about 50% complete, and that's ongoing. Additionally, with the recent hot, dry weather, we've have been fire staffing and there's been prescribed burning, not in Sawyer County, but there's been some in Washburn and Bayfield County. So as conditions, and staff allow, we're looking at windows for that. Additionally, end of last month, we had the partnership meeting between the county and us kind of, discussing goals moving forward and, previous, stuff going on. And then also, as always, chipping away at sale prep and establishments other than the site prep has kind of been the focus of our time lately.
Thank you. See, no one here from the Forest Service today, so we move on to recreational trails report.
Good morning, everybody. Tim Davison, Sawyer County Snowmobile Alliance. Fall's coming on fast now, officially as of today, first frost. We're doing fall cleanup on the trails, doing some grading, doing quite a bit of bulldozing and trail rehab. We've been waiting to work with the DNR for some collaboration on monies for a couple culverts on the Tuscobia for the better part of the summer. Still want to get that done this fall yet. I was up on the trail that Greg had mentioned the day before yesterday, and the rehab turned out beautiful. The residents there and people who drive it say it's a huge improvement from what it was. We've got one more section up there to do. That will be done hopefully in the next couple years. So that whole section there of the Edgewater area will all be redone. It'll be very nice. People do use it. It's a very popular route around Birchwood area. They call it the Spider Lake Loop. It's very popular within the ATV and snowmobile community. Working on a Tuscobia. There is so much traffic on these trails right now. It's hard to keep up. We could grade every day on our trails that have been rehabbed and not have them smooth or ready. It's just unreal how many reelers are up here on a weekend. I don't know if you guys notice it, but everywhere I go on a weekend, there are wheelers everywhere. And they're bringing in tons and tons of money into the community. And it is appreciated by all. The very, very few, if none, reports of any incidents going on with them. If you're out riding like I do, I ride a lot. I see a lot of middle-aged to people my age or even a little older out riding and just pleasure riding. They're just going from business to business or to a park or a picnic or wherever, but it's just overwhelmingly how many families and elderly people are out riding. I'm getting ready for snowmobile season. Probably next month we'll report on some of that. Hopefully bring the snow season back to Sawyer County for once, because we've been deficit the last couple of years and we sure would appreciate it. We do appreciate all the support we get from Sawyer County. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Item 13, Resolution 2025 to support the Forestry Revitalization Act.
Yeah, this is, the Forestry Revitalization Act is put forth by Senator Felskowski and Representative Green co-sponsoring it, and it would just be a huge benefit to all the northern counties, including Sawyer County. We've traditionally been, timber and tourism are kind of our driving forces up here, and for our area, timber's taken a hit with all the mills closing. Luckily, we've got LP here, which has helped, but it's definitely affected northern Wisconsin. This would be a very, very large investment in northern Wisconsin, $210 million. 150 of it would be a bond issue. The repayments would come through forestry account. So it's forestry supporting forestry, which is a good thing. The other 60 million is a tax incentive through economic development. As I mentioned, we're heavy on timber and tourism. The tourism, it's great, 980 jobs attributed to it, but the average pay for those is $37,000. So it's not a living wage for this area. Try buying a house on 37,000 up here. This would bring in 150 plant jobs, which would be very well-paying jobs. They could afford a house up here. And beyond that, it would be about another 200 jobs in forestry, trucking, other services attributed to this project. So just recommend we support it. Went through economic development on Monday. And goes through here, we'll pass it on to the full board.
I'd like to make a motion that we support the Wisconsin Forestry Revitalization Act.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Zoning and conservation update.
As part of the conservation update, we had 2 dam inspections that were completed. That was for the Billy Boy Dam and the Upper Bruni Dam, as well as conservation staff was doing other brush maintenance on our other county-owned dams. Conservation staff has also been involved with other on-site visits, restoration work, and grading permits. We're seeing quite a bit of increase in those as everyone's trying to wrap up their final fall projects before we do get, hopefully, that snow here in the next month when he left. But AIS coordinator presented a water quality data study with the Winter Lakes Alliance. We are starting work and securing stock for our annual spring tree sale. And then we do have an update and a presentation with a potential action for the committee notification form. So with that, I would like to present a presentation for a PowerPoint, but you can also go to the next slide for those that are following on their laptop as far as our version 7 of our land water resource management plan. This is for the 2027 to 2036 update. But I will be sharing a PowerPoint here as well. Give me 1 second. Sharing that. No, it's not. Can you stop sharing? Yeah. And then if you go to view up on the top right there, if you can go to view and then full screen. Wonderful. And I'll have Natalie Erler and Tim Seidel go through the PowerPoint as well as kind of the intro to our land water resource management.
Yeah, so this is just a quick little PowerPoint we put together to just kind of show what we've put together so far for the public to look at and comment on in next month's meeting. Just turn over. So, part of the reason why we need a plan is it's required under Wisconsin Chapter 92 state statute. It's approved by DACAP, and it makes the county eligible for the grant funding that supplies the cost share for both projects and also funding for our positions. In the plan, it has an assessment of our land and water resources, goes over water quality, erosion, and the different natural resources that we have. Through that, we establish different goals and objectives on how we are going to reach different parts of aspects of that. There's a goal for ag. We have some stuff in there for water quality, and goes through, I think we have 6 total ones. And just kind of helps focus us on our local conservation priorities. Here's the timeline of how that process goes. We are kind of in the middle of it right now. We're about a month ahead as far as timeline goes, but you can just see the different steps that are required to move through this. The first part's basically just coming up with a plan for the public to actually be able to comment on. So that's what we've been doing before. And now we're getting to the point where the public gets to take a look at it. These were the people we invited to help collaborate with it. This list of individuals came from both past plans that we used as well as people who do different partnerships and stuff with us. So we just kind of threw together a group of individuals that have different parts of the plan that they can comment on. So there we go. So one of our primary goals is to reduce the environmental impact of agriculture on non-point source pollution. We are funded through DATCAP, so which is the Department of Ag. So agriculture is always one of our top priorities. One of our first objectives is to have all farms have and utilize a nutrient management plan in the county. We are working towards that goal. We've got a ways to go. Control barnyard runoff. That seems we've done a pretty good job on that. Not to mention there's less and less barnyards every year in Sawyer County. So all cropland erosion be reduced to tolerable soil losses. That ties in with the nutrient management plans, because as part of a nutrient management plan, you also need to have a cropping plan that works with that. And then just to educate producers of all various sizes on different land and water resources. Our second goal is to protect and enhance to restore natural shoreline structure and function. This is kind of a big one in Sawyer County with all the shoreline that we have. This is where we spend a lot of our time. So we're looking to educate shoreline property owners on the benefits of natural shorelines, helping install shoreline restoration protection projects when necessary, protect the existing shoreline habitat that we have now in order to help maintain healthy lakes, mitigation plan guidance when needed, and then also to educate boaters on wake impacts to shorelines. And our third goal is to control and monitor invasive species. This is something that's been an ongoing task. Objective one of that is to survey, monitor, and map invasive species. Continue to educate the public on the prevention and early detection to control invasive species, because the best way to control them is to not get them in the first place. And then objective three is to seek funding sources when needed to help fight invasive species. So that was our set of primary goals. Our secondary goals is something that we're still want to focus on, but not quite as bad. So reduce soil erosion caused by forest, road building, and stream crossings. And one thing I want to specify here is we're talking about private landowners, not county or state. They seem to have that, but we would like to, help more private landowners in the areas. We've got such a large number of forestry in the county that, that's a place that I feel that we could have a little bit more aspect is helping private landowners with some of their stuff. So we'd like to educate private landowners on how to plan a timber harvest, help monitor logging sites, and provide consultation when necessary, help with seeding and planting of abandoned forest roads, and just connect with private landowners in general and with different ways that we are available to help them. Goal 5 is to protect land and water resources through the use of our comprehensive planning and enforcement of zoning regulations. So we want to establish a countywide land use planning standards, require mitigation and restoration of shoreline violations, or when they're specialized projects, and to require grading permits for disturbed slope areas and areas in excess of 10,000 square feet. And the final goal is kind of an all-encompassing one of promoting an ecological health and restoration through encouraging private landowners to establish wetland restorations and enhancements, educate the public on the value of wetlands, and do our annual tree sale, which this year is going on 30 years. We want to start an annual native plant sale, and then also to educate landowners on the importance of natural ecosystems. So where we're at now in our planning we're in is hosting just an informational hearing on the plan. Next up will be doing the public hearing for it. And then also today we need to review and approve the questionnaire and implementation. From here, after today's meeting, can review public comments with our public hearing coming up next month. Submit a draft to the DNR and DATCAP for any further comments they may have. They've already provided quite a bit of input. Then we'll submit the final plan to DATCAP. Once DATCAP accepts it, then we need to present it to the Land and Water Conservation Board. And if we get approval from them, then we'll be submitting the final plan for acceptance to the county. Anybody have any questions or discussion on what we're at at this point?
Well, to me, it seemed to capture everything we discussed at our 3 meetings, May, June, and July we met, and had a good group of folks, either in person or online, contributing to it. So I felt we had a pretty well-represented group of folks there from various disciplines contributing to it. So I think that PowerPoint is well done. So kudos.
Thank you.
If you wanted to share again, if you want me to do it. If you want to go just back to full screen there, that's fine. Okay. What is full screen? Do you want to take it back over? Share? Yeah, so this would be part of the questionnaire. So we'd like to go through the questionnaire. This would require discussion. We'd like to go through the questionnaires. This would then require discussion action to approve the, what do we call it? Implementation form?
I believe so.
Land Conservation Committee notification form. So again, this is the first introduction of the plan to the committee. And then DACCAP needs to be notified that at least the committee has received the initial notification. From here, we would be then looking at hosting the official public hearing next month. Do you want to go through this at all?
So I think the best way to go through this is basically going to be to read it. It might be kind of boring, but we need to, so the first part is to provide a representative number of accomplishments within the last 5 years that can be directly traced to activities identified in multiple work plans. For each accomplishment, explain how the planning process helped the county achieve its outcome, including planning adjustments to help better target county activities. Now, this is a very condensed and summarized version because it can't exceed 4 pages for submittal. So trying to fit 5 years in 4 pages means we made it pretty simple. So one accomplished category is the cost share program implementation. Interest in cost share projects always exceeds the cost share funding that we have available each year, and projects are prioritized as outlined in the Land and Water Resource Management Plan. The past 5 years have seen, we did 1 agricultural project and 11 stream bank or shoreline protection projects. Total stream bank shoreline protection linear feet resulting directly from cost share projects has been 1,867 feet in the past 5 years. And there's an increase in project costs that have drastically reduced the number of projects we are able to do each year. The total project cost that for the last 5 years was $176,123, and that in cost share that was brought in to the county through those projects was $89,540. Ag producer contact meetings and site visits to inform and encourage participation in conservation practices is constantly ongoing. In the last number of years, we have seen a divergence of agriculture to fewer but larger, more consolidated traditional agricultural operations. And also on the opposite side of that, smaller niche farming activities. We've had the opportunity to work with several producers, both large and small, offering advice on steps they can take to improve their conservation on their properties. There's been an increase in the population density. Lot division, runoff, tourism, and lake use has increased the number of site visits to properties and landowner meetings regarding erosion control and shoreline education, mitigation, and restoration. So as a department, we have placed more emphasis on obtaining grading permits on shoreline properties to help deter erosion. Our annual tree sale has been offered as a service to landowners for 30 years. The tree sale brings in landowners looking to add native trees and shrubs to their properties for restoration projects, erosion control projects, wildlife value, and reforestation. The tree sale opens the door for landowner contacts and results in restoration projects, erosion control, and site plan discussions. A major accomplishment was moving the tree sale to an online platform, and this has made the sale run more efficiently and was easier for customers to order. Our education and outreach to landowners, lake associations, schools, and the community is an important component of department duties. Acting as a resource for landowner questions and connecting them to the appropriate information relevant to the project and our problems is a daily function that runs a wide range of topics. Guidance for site-specific solutions help the landowners navigate conservation concerns on their properties that are often resolved with on-site visit. Lake associations regularly contact the department for brochures, guidance, and presentations. The Conservation Speaking and Poster Contest is held annually and give students the opportunity to dive deep into conservation topics. Over the last 5 years, several posters have won state contests and qualified for national, which make a positive impact not only on the student, but also their families and community as well. And we have also partnered with local conservation groups to provide scholarships to local students to attend conservation-themed summer camps. The second one is identifying in areas where the county was unable to make desired progress in implementing activities identified in work plans. For each area identified, explain the work plan adjustments that were made to refocus planned activities. If no areas are identified, explain how the county was able to make progress in all areas planned. So one of the areas where the county is continuing to struggle to meet desired progress is in the installation of several cost-share projects for shoreline protection, where the plan calls for utilizing lake ice to transport materials. Due to climate change, the lake ice has not been conducive to hauling heavy materials and equipment on the ice, and projects have been delayed or forced to find other means to proceed. This has resulted in few projects each year being carried over with an extension of funds. Ideally, we would be able to clear this backlog of projects. The demand for cost-shared shoreline projects greatly exceeds the annual funding available and has limited the ability to target and pursue other projects. We have held nutrient management farmer education trainings in the past. However, we did not get the turnout that we were hoping for. So we are now in the process of using the remaining funds for nutrient management for cranberry producers, which Sawyer County has never done before. So Wisconsin's one of the top cranberry producers, or is the top cranberry producer in the nation, and Sawyer County is one of the top producers in the state. So we're trying to shift our focus to them, trying something new. The department sent out an agricultural producer survey to 600 plus landowners with agricultural land in the past. The resulting data showed several practices that landowners were interested in, but due to lack of funding and staff time, we haven't been able to follow up on requests as much as we would like to up there. The demographics of Sawyer County do not lend themselves to as many agricultural projects as many other regions of the state. We do have a good working relationship with our small pool of farmers, but much of the interest in cost share projects come from larger resource base of concern, water and shoreline. So staff works diligently with the agricultural producers to offer technical assistance and cost share projects whenever possible. However, the numbers are just not as robust as areas of the state with more agriculture. So that's why most of our focus is not necessarily on ag. Describe the county's approach to implementation of priority farm strategy, including outreach, farm inventories, and making use of multiple funding sources. How has the county evaluated the effectiveness of its priority farm strategy and used this information to improve implementation of the agricultural performance standards on conservation practices? Well, Sawyer County's methodology for identifying location of farms is pretty simplistic. There are very few farms remaining in the county. Dairy farming has been reduced to only a few operations, with the trend growing towards larger herd sizes. Other former dairies have transitioned to cash grain operations. Cranberry production has always been a part of Sawyer County agriculture. Recently, there's been an increase in small-scale agriculture, growing diverse mix of livestock and specialty crops. So due to the small number of agricultural operations, we consider all of our operations to be a priority farm. Agriculture requests for service are ranked ahead of all other requests, and outreach to local farmers is ongoing, and staff has a good relationship with the producers to offer assistance as requested and funding support whenever possible. And finally, the final question. Provide representative examples to show changes in direction of the county's land and water plan and annual work plans, with specific examples provided showing adjustment in goals, objectives, and planned activities. So each year we prioritize our farms and agriculture projects. The nature of the resources in Sawyer County brings our attention to many shoreline erosion projects due to all of our water resources here. So the other major natural resource in Sawyer County is forests. Our work plans give a focus on collaborating with landowners, land managers, and consultants to increase our presence with forestry-related management practices. Sawyer County's land use is 74% forestry, making the importance of working with forest management practices in Sawyer County the equivalent of agricultural land use in other regions of the state. And that's why we want to shift more to helping out forestry landowners. With Sawyer County being one of the top cranberry producers in the state, we're also pivoting towards cranberry production, nutrient management education. We are also working towards adding a native plant sale in addition to our tree sale to reach more landowners and provide more pollinator habitat and help reduce shoreline erosion. So, any questions on that overview?
Very well done. Yes, thank you.
There is an optional question that, regarding climate change resiliency, and whether it's included in our plan. We do have a portion of that in our appendix, but other than that, we didn't put a lot of focus on the climate change part, just because it hasn't been anything that we focused on in the past, and we don't have a lot there. We certainly could if you would like us to, but it is an optional question, so.
I don't know how the committee feels, but for myself, I don't see a need for that.
And again, we'd be looking for any type of additional discussion that you would have on this. And then ultimately the action would be for approval of the notification form, which we would have the chair sign. We then provide that information back to the state or is it DADCAP? Back to DADCAP. Again, we would also be looking at hosting the official public hearing next month. This would be the time to certainly, if there are any additional questions or comments that you wanted added into the plan prior to the public hearing, at least for the committee, as well as the general public, they can provide additional comments at this point. So, but again, looking for discussion and then action for approval of the notification form.
Jay, in a previous meeting, we had a presentation about a groundwater study.
Mhm.
And do we want to incorporate that into this plan?
Yeah, I mean, some of those elements are, I guess, earmarked to be incorporated in the plan. Now, obviously, the study isn't done yet. It's part of a budget request for 2026 to do that groundwater study or that groundwater surveying, geological surveying. I believe there is spots in the plan where that is to be, implemented in there, but during our, I guess, update of the plan, we would take the new information that hopefully would be done by 2020, end of 2026, 2027, and implement that in there to the update.
I just wondered if maybe if we wanted it to be a goal and an objective for the plan to address groundwater.
I guess part of it is we're kind of waiting to see what the plan brings out to us so that we can work off of that. I think a good place for that would be when the 5-year review comes up. When we have that data, we can kind of incorporate some of that into the upcoming plan. It's one of those things where timelines just don't quite fit. That plan isn't completed yet, and our plan is already moving forward. But it's certainly something that isn't forgotten about or not thought of.
Yeah, if there's a spot that we can put it in there, I'll look back through those goals there. Yeah, and if that's something that we can incorporate into the plan to, review data from the geological survey, if budget approves the actual study to be conducted, that we, during that 5-year update, implement that other, goals and objectives that we would get from that study.
I think that would emphasize our commitment to that project.
Any further discussion, questions? Is it time for a motion?
Motion, move this back to that cap.
Yeah, it's just the notification form at this point that you've received the notification and basically the presentation of the initial land water management plan. So.
I guess I'd like to make a motion to move this back we've been provided the information back to DADCAP and set the public hearing for next month.
Second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Hey.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Then moving on, we're at the wildlife damage program. I'll turn it over to Seth from USDA to kind of give the update for the 2026 budget as well as crop prices for 2025.
Morning, Seth Zestiger with USDA Wildlife Services. Several items here for your consideration, but I guess first I just wanted to introduce James Doss. He'll be the new damage program administrator for Rusk and Sawyer counties. As first of all, does everybody have somewhat of a familiarity with the wildlife damage program? If not, I can certainly summarize that, but if so, we can just dive right into it.
We do have a few new members, so if you could, that'd be great.
Sure. So the Wildlife Damage Abatement and Claims Program is a program that's offered from the state of Wisconsin DNR. Counties can opt to participate in it. Sawyer County has for many years. Yeah. And since 2019, the county has contracted out the administration of that program to USDA APHIS Wildlife Services. So the money is available from the state. It is pass-through funding, zero levy to the county. APHIS ourselves will invoice the county. Jay will in turn kick that invoice over to the state for reimbursement. Our primary goal is to assist farmers that are experiencing wildlife damage from deer, bear, turkey, geese, and elk, providing any mitigation tools at our disposal to try preventing the damage, and for the damage that we're unable to prevent, provide compensation. So that's the quick and dirty version of it. It gets pretty nuanced, but that should be sufficient. I guess the first item before us is setting the crop prices for 2025. So these crop prices that we set are what the farmers will be paid for their losses after we do our crop damage assessments. The proposal that we have before you, it's an annual or yearly average. The county does have the discretion to set the prices at what they deem appropriate with proper justification. But after running several analysis, spot price, which is current price of harvest, throwing in basis, obviously the annual average, this is what we deemed was most appropriate, and so this is what we are recommending for the prices for 2025.
And this would come with a discussion action from the committee to approve either the proposed 2025 crop prices or to change or amend those. And the next attachment that's on there is how that data was derived.
Correct. I did include a copy of our prices and sources so that you guys can see that we're not just pulling them out of thin air, kind of where we got these from.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to set the prices that are presented to us for the 25 crop damage.
Is there a second? I'll second that. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Second item would be presenting the operating budget for 2026. This is the budget that we feel we need to properly provide adequate service to the farmers in the county that participate in the program. As mentioned, this is zero levy to the county. It's pass-through money from the state. Again, we would send a quarterly bill to the county or annually. I'm not sure how you guys do it, Jay, but at that point, Jay would then forward that reimbursement request to the DNR, to the state, and would be reimbursed for it. Slight increase from last year, about $2,000 of that is due to the participation of Whiskey Ridge in the deer donation program. They had dropped out for a couple of years due to, fire at the facility and a lot of domestic slaughter, but they are wanting to participate again this year. So we do have a line item in there covering that expense. The remainder of it would be due to a congressionally mandated cost of living increase.
Yeah, we would need a motion to approve the 2026 wildlife damage budget.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2026 wildlife management budget.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Directly related to that would be the deer donation program agreement with the county. Again, that's already accounted for in the line item budget for 2026. County administers the program, but they also contract out that administration to USDA Wildlife Services. So we handle all the details of that with the processors and with the pantries that the processors work with. And this is just more formalizing what was just in the budget, saying that the county agrees to participate in it and administer the program, which, as I said, is just contracted out to us for administration.
So when they process them, then this goes back out to the public? Is that what basically after Whiskey Ridge does that?
To the food shelves and
The food shelves?
So the various Sawyer County food shelves get the meat from Whiskey Ridge.
I guess I'll make a motion that Sawyer County stays in with the deer donation program for 2026.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And I believe the final item is just setting the deadline for enrollees into the damage program to request a crop damage appraisal. This is mandated by state statute and administrative code. One element of that is that once 90% of the crops within the county have been harvested, at that point, anybody else that would call in for appraisal after that, it would be ineligible for it. It can be difficult to ascertain when 90% of the crops in the county have been harvested. And so the other element of that is that overwintered crops are ineligible for claims. That's a little bit easier. Last day of fall is December 20th. I tried to find when there was a projection from from National Agricultural Statistics Services as to when there was a 90% harvest projection. That's been unavailable for the last several years, and so I simply set it for the last day of fall, which would be December 20th.
What you have done in the past.
Correct.
Make a motion to approve the deadline date of December 20th for claim abatement claims.
I'll second.
Okay, a motion by Ms. Wilson and a second by Mr. Newman. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Perfect. And we'll have you, Mr. Carrion, we'll have you sign a bunch of things then after the meeting here. So.
Thank you.
That would be the last of the action items I had for you guys. I did provide a list of program enrollees to date within Sawyer County. Just for your information. Otherwise, if you have any questions for me pertaining to any of this, I'd be happy to try answering those for you.
Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess we're down to item 16, board appointed committee updates. Anything there? Any correspondence, reports from conferences and meetings? Future agenda items. I guess we'll be having a public hearing at our next meeting regarding the Land and Water Resource Management Plan. I believe we are now adjourned. Thank you all.